Welcome to another deep dive into leadership. Today, we're joined by Jay Bauer. Now, Jay is president and chief archer of the Crossbow Group. Jay, I gotta ask, with that title and that name, what do you do?
Well, it's not. We are not in the hunting we're not out
Okay.
pursuing animals. I do get emails like that every day, but what we are is a integrated marketing services agency that I've been running for 25 years. We're focused on three vertical markets: healthcare, primarily, financial services, and health tech. By the way, financial services, fintech, and the technology business, which really has been the core of the business for the last 30 years, because I did buy the husk of what this is 25 years ago as of September. And then we focus on a few sub-verticals that we are in, largely because some of the smart, ambitious people from these other companies went to other roles and just hired us.
Very good. Now, you look way too young to have run this company for 25 years, but I'm going to give you a pass on that one. But given you've been doing it for this long, what drives you? What is your why?
Well, when I was early in my career, it became very clear that I was not a good employee. I was the guy, irritating guy with
That's a certain amount of self-awareness that's good to have.
Yeah. Well, I got lots of signals, including in my third job. I had moved up quickly in organizations, and I think I reached my point of incompetence. At least that's how I look at it. I was in a venture-backed company. I was the only person who did not have an MBA, and I did feel kind of like I was just trying to keep up. So basically I was the ideas guy. But in answer to your question, that's a little clearer and more to the point. Why do I do this? It's because I worked in very big organizations where there were often toxic cultures, particularly in the agency side of the business, which we're on, and cost. That created lots of bureaucracies and costs. And I wanted an alternative to that kind of agency environment that was more family friendly, more balanced, a good place, a place where people looked forward to coming to work and didn't dread it. And more importantly, for clients, I wanted a place where you were only working with people who are deeply experienced. You're never kind of shuffled off to a junior staffer, which is really the big agency model. You're always working with somebody who is deeply committed to your business's goals and objectives and had the experience to deliver against those objectives.
Okay, thank you for that. And that kind of leads into the next question I have, which is, what are your goals as a leader?
I think to put forth a very clear, compelling, and differentiating vision for what our organization does and where it's going. I think that's really important, especially these days. I think being authentically me, as you know, and any of the clients who work with us and our staff, I've got a kind of a different perspective and take on the world and the work we do that is a little different. So I think the reason that works is people know when they hear from me, either on the phone or through the email newsletters we send out, that this is Jay talking, and there's a certain amount of tongue in cheek to everything I do, which belies a certain dead seriousness about what we're trying to do and why we're trying to get it done. So I think that's important. I think consistency as a leader is really important. Like when people come to you, whether they're clients or your team members, they know what they're gonna get. Doesn't mean they'll always like it, but they know what they can expect when they reach out to you about an issue or a challenge or an opportunity.
Wow, very good. And you use the word different. I'm going to suggest that you really mean creative, because I love your newsletter, and I love the way you demonstrate your creative skills while you get informing your clients as to what's taking place and what some of the latest trends are, type of thing. So I really enjoy those.
Thank you. I mean, I think that you're right, that is an approach we take, and there's a sea of sameness in terms of marketing, consulting, and advertising communications. that we try to break out of. And I think, yeah, this newsletter is a way to demonstrate that.
Yeah, I just think that's a great approach to both demonstrate your skills and keep your clients kind of up to speed in what's taking place.
Yeah.
Now, you did say you'd been around for 25 years. You did say you had some experience with larger companies before that. So that leads me to my next question, which is what have you noticed are the traits or attributes of a good leader?
I do think some of the things I've mentioned, I think authenticity, being who you are and no one else. I've met leaders who are introverted. I've met who are extremely effective at their job in both communicating um, what they need to do and how. I've met, sales-driven CEOs who are extroverted, loud leaders running, they're the tip of the spear and they do what they do very well. What the consistent theme I see within these different types of leadership styles is they are themselves and they are comfortable with who they are. They lead with who they are. They know that it works, and they know when it doesn't work. So I think that's probably the most important thing is you're not trying to be something you're not trying to be a leader. You're not trying to be a CEO or a chairman. You're leading based on who you are, what your strengths are uniquely, and putting that first and foremost.
Wow.
And then I do think consistency is critically important. And, like I'd said, I think communicating a clear vision of what you're trying to do and why.
Okay. A couple things come through in that. One is the power of being authentic, and you
Yeah.
certainly are. So I see you demonstrate that. But the other piece is also being aware of who you are and what your style is, so you can stay true to yourself, so to speak, in that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do think that's really important. And I think I have seen leaders and leadership models that have failed because people are trying to represent themselves as something they're not. And, there's very smart people in every organization and among client bases they can figure that out very quickly.
Wow.
What you can apply consistently.
All right, very good. Now we've had a chance to work together for the last few years, and one of the perks of working with you is you're a creative person, so you're fun to work with, Jay.
Thank you.
But along those lines, in our Vistage group, and I've got to ask, what do you see as the top benefits for being a member of a Vistage peer advisory group?
I mean, in short, and most importantly, I have a built-in board of directors who come from many different types of businesses, backgrounds, and bring those perspectives, which are very different sometimes than my own business and my own background, but it's enormously valuable because what they also understand, and this is, critical when you talk about leadership, is how lonely it can be when the buck does stop with you, when the decisions you need to be making, the situations you're presented with. This group uniquely understands what that's like, and when you have a challenge or an issue, an opportunity, they bring perspectives to those that you just can't get anywhere else. And I just find that enormously valuable. So that for me is the number one advantage, and probably a close number two is I've got a chairman of that board, and that's you. Somebody who's got deep experience, who knows how to manage this kind of a herd of cats, if you will, in very effective ways, and that's been enormously beneficial to me.
Jay, thank you, and thanks for the compliment. But one of the things I realized in your participation in the group is it's phenomenal to have somebody with your creativity. We talk about getting different perspectives because of a broad range of leaders, but it's great when we have somebody who can take a look at things the way you do and see them differently.
Yeah.
We talk about one of the benefits of being in a peer advisory group is preventing blind spots.
Yeah.
Well, it really helps to have someone with your level of creativity who kind of can see some of the blind spots that maybe we don't always realize. So thank you for your help in doing that.
Thank you. I think sometimes I'm just comic relief, and it's, as you know, many of my ideas are not good ones, but at least they're amusing.
We enjoy them, and I enjoy them personally. So thank you for that. Now, you did say you've been around for 25 plus years, so I've got to ask, uh, what are you looking for to be your legacy? What do you want to be remembered for when all is said and done?
Yeah, I mean, I never started the Crossbow Group to become a big business where my focus was build it to a certain size and sell it to a big conglomerate, which many people did. The reason I started the business was around people, is creating an environment where we're having fun, learning, you're doing work you love. There's work-life balance, which was, woefully
Wow.
non-existent in the places I work. So I want to be remembered, hopefully, as a people person, as someone who did help, especially some of the senior people who've come through my organization, run agencies themselves. My coaching tree is pretty long in that regard, and it's not by design, but I've had as many as 10 people who've worked at Crossbow Group subsequently go on to run their own agencies or run other agencies or other organizations. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud of them. And then I think, yeah, I do want to be remembered as somebody who put the people honestly before the work, like your personal well-being. Obviously, we've all been through a lot in these last few years with the pandemic. And I think everybody in my organization knows, both those who are there now and those who have been there, that if something's going on with your family or friends in your life, or just whatever, a simple mental health issue, you can bring that up to me, and that nothing else will matter. We will address that however we need to.
Wow. Jay, thank you. And Jay, thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights on leadership and your creativity.
My pleasure.
To our viewers, thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Tetro. I'm an executive coach, and I lead a Vistage peer advisory group of high-performing CEOs. If you'd like to know more about Jay and the Crossbow Group, or more about Vistage and the benefits of a peer advisory group, please reach out. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you on our next deep dive. Bye for now.